and then we'll just have it up. That would be a little more interesting to me. Anyway.
Yeah,
I didn't know what you would do with.
we need
Cool,
somebody
you want to make
artistic.
it readable.
Okay. Next time, I just want to take a couple of minutes, and this is going to come back up later in the agenda, and talk about the 39, count them, voter suppression bills that have been introduced by the Michigan Senate Republicans. And while they're not all actually horrible, the ones that are bad, and they did it as a package, so I'm using the blanket term for all the bills that are in this package, since they introduced it together, they're going to be treated together. They make a very strict voter ID requirement, which does include absentee voting, which is a huge issue. You would have to send a copy of your photo ID with your absentee ballot application, which puts you at risk for
Identity theft.
And
Identity
various
theft.
other things. Yeah, yep.
Well, and you would need access to
Or a
copier.
And other bills would do things like prohibit communities from providing prepaid postage for return ballots, which Lansing started doing last year. Detroit, which obviously has a higher low-income population than Lansing does, has been doing for many years, and that is definitely an access issue targeted at bigger cities. Would also put some very strict regulations which would discourage the use of ballot drop boxes, which were very popular among voters last year, including requiring them to be closed at 5 o'clock the day before the election and not allow them to be used on election day. It would prohibit the Secretary of State from providing absentee ballot applications, including having one available on the state website. And it increases the power of challengers. As we know, in Detroit, there were issues with challengers overwhelming their system in trying to run their absent voter counting board. So just a huge slew of bills, and we'll get into how you can help a little bit later. I think that's under organizing committee, correct, Brian?
Yep.
Okay.
The link is right at the front, but I'll put that in the chat as well, so you can sign up early if you can't stay for later in the committee. So.
And I will note that the clerks across Michigan are united in opposition to a large majority of these bills, and we're almost the groups that are talking about are almost unanimous in our position on every bill. So there's going to be a lot of force coming down against the worst of these bills. Okay. Any questions for me on that or anything? Okay. I'm gonna recognize Mary Kay Scullion for our treasurer's report and a couple of other related items. Mary Kay.
She muted? I can't see right now.
Mary Kay, we can't hear you if you're trying to talk.
She's muted.
Do you want to go to my report and come back?
Sure, yeah, we'll come back to Mary Kay once she's able to get herself unmuted.
Okay. So, and people can see the agenda right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the big exciting thing that, and I need your help on, is the leadership team approved the intern for this summer, working for let me bring up that posting, which all these documents is on the documentation, which is in the link, so you can access all this, the legislation that we just showed earlier. But it's a paid internship, 15 hours per week, starting roughly early June, starting by the end of the semester, although they don't necessarily have to do it for college credit. $225 per week. We want to make sure we're paying them a living wage. And looking that they'll be helping organizing our summer outreach effort, including canvassing, which you'll be hearing about, phone banks. We've seen already getting a lot of requests for different phone banks events, including our summer picnic, as well as maybe organize another fundraising event even for the summer and the fall. So they're really going to learn everything about running basically a political campaign. So if it's someone interested in getting into campaigns, running for office, running a campaign, this is a great stepping stone. So I'm really looking to the party to you each to share with your network, especially college students, people who have a strong interest in campaigning, especially folks who may be interested in running political campaigns next year, and finding someone that we can really help increase their skill set and going forward. And if they have questions, they can call, email. They need to email their resume and cover letter. I really would like to have this nailed, applications in by the end of the month, and then started doing interviewing. But it's not really a hard deadline. But sooner is better than later. Once we found a good candidate and we've done a few interviews, we'll make a decision for that. So any questions about the internship?
Is this advertised somewhere?
It has been advertised. I mean, it was just approved last Wednesday. I put it on Facebook and shared it with the MSU Democrats and a few other people so far, but not really. It's not really out in the community yet. But I need your help in doing so. But I'm not looking to do like an advertisement in Indeeds and things like that. But I am going to put it on the colleges, LCC, MSU, Central's on Handshake, which is the student internship network, is one of the steps that I can get someone to do this on our behalf for it.
Is it possible, Brian, for you to put it on PMTC, Pure Michigan Talent Connect, or is it too expensive?
If it costs money, I wouldn't do it versus getting to where the college students are.
Gotcha.
I guess is and I'm thinking it's more of the political network rather than the general network
Okay.
is for it. So that's my thought on that, but it's a good suggestion and something consider there for it. So that is available. I will, or if someone else could, so that I can keep going, is put that in the chat, which makes it easier for people to grab, or if they're going to the documentation link, which is on everyone's agenda that I emailed out, they can get to that as well. And the other key part to it is if we want to keep this internship, it's a piloting. We'll see what we're able to get worthwhile. But we normally, in the past, in the old days when we had lots of money and, we had a staff person, an office staff person and people to do these kind of work. And we really need to fundraise through our PAC campaign accounts to fund this position for next year, because they're going to be doing direct campaign, vote for Gretchen Whitmer, vote for state rep, state senator, vote for Democrats. We need to fund our PAC in order to do that. And so we really need those donations to our PAC in order to fund that position, and so we can plan and interview and say, yep, we can have an intern for the spring and the summer and, you know, and fall and things like that next year, if we have the money now this year, and give Mary Kay less heartburn. So
Well,
please
this is
consider,
giving me a lot of heartburn, Brian.
I know, but if we donate to the PAC, that will ease your heartburn going forward.
Well, here's the problem. We can fund it without using the PAC this fall, I think, because we'll be doing a mix of a campaign and non-campaign kinds of things.
Correct.
And I don't want to say, limit us to only fundraising through the PAC for it. We need to fundraise for this for the summer.
For Ed, yeah.
So we need admin money for this year to fund it, and then we need PAC money to fund it next year.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say to you.
Okay, and so the fund, the admin account, that's through our PayPal. So if, Chris, if you or someone could put the link to the PayPal, I don't know how to access that.
Okay, I will figure that out.
Let the finance committee plan that out in the next couple weeks for you, okay, Brian?
Yep, but I know people can do the PayPal for it, so great.
I
We
have a quick-
also are, we've also missed any of the face-to-face classes on campus because they're all the classes are finished by the end of this week. Everything is finished except for exams.
Right, yep. Yep, so it's working through those networks, Progressive Democrats, Youth Democratic Caucus, the MSU, and things like that. The handshake is where they're looking for internships. I'm getting bombarded at work with internship, looking for people want to have internships this summer. So
Do we have any connections at LCC?
we do. I used to work there for 10 years.
Okay, great. I just know a couple people, so if we did not get out.
But share it with them as well. I mean, there's lots of networks over at LCC.
Absolutely. Any free pipelines that anyone has, any contacts, if you want to put it into the chat, we can also reach out to those areas if you have suggestions as well.
Right, or you follow up and share that information out. We have that flyer is out there. So, any other questions on the internship?
I have a question. Are we sure we have 20 hours of work in a non-election year for that?
I am easily can put them to work for 20 hours. And then Project 83 will also look at where we'll be coordinating folks to do lit drops at least once a week.
So with some of their, like if they also themselves went out on the lit drops and that their wages, it would pay for those hours as well.
Right.
Sure. Yep. But the real focus is trying to coordinate others in that. But yep, that's definitely for it. So I think we can easily fill their time out. Not to mention what other outreach activities the planning forth going forward. So I think we can keep them very busy. We with the fundraising plan and coordinating those logistics and things like that. So that I'd like hope they get a little bit taste of the different elements of the campaign. So any other questions on the internship? If not, I'll just put the call out for first time attendees to complete the new member form. And I will put that into the chat and take it back to Mary Kay.
Chris, do you want me to move ahead?
Yes, please. Yep.
The PAC account currently has $8,966 in it. I'm sorry, that's the administrative account. The PAC account has been broken into 3 components. We have a checking account which has $6,619. A Spartan Saver account which is $1,002.38, and a business IMMA account which has 10,000 in it. And the latter operates similar to a CD, with the exception that the money is not frozen. We can get to the money. It pays, I think, 4 cents on the dollar, which is not much, but we can get to the money when we need it. So in total PAC accounts, we've got $17,719. Now this is a substantial amount ahead of where we were last year at this time. However, I would point out to the membership that as we move toward next year's election, we're going to have to be able to have a significant amount of money on hand at the outset, because we're going to, as you could guess, have a very tight governor's race. The date on there for the August picnic is one that kind of was pulled out of the air. The Finance Committee was not able to meet in March because I was sick. So we'll be scheduling a meeting of the Finance Committee. Anyone who is interested, please send me a notice that you're interested, and we'll put you on the notice list for the meeting. On the federal PAC, Diane has begun with preparation of our statement of purpose to get our federal PAC organized for purposes of doing literature that has Representative Slotkin on it, assuming we are still in that legislative district.
Great. And then Mary Kay, since you drafted it, did you want to
Sure.
talk about the CATA letter?
Yeah. As some of you may know, the Capital Area Transportation Authority and the Amalgamated Transportation Unit have been in negotiations for a couple of years, attempting to work out a contract. ATU put out a request for assistance, and we met at officers meeting. I had a draft of a letter to the two entities asking that they come to the table as quickly as possible and attempt to resolve this issue. As you may have noticed over the weekend, CATA took some unilateral contract language, which I think makes the importance of our letter even stronger. We have asked in the concluding part of the letter that both parties voluntarily come to the table, and they are close to agreement based on what I've seen in terms of documents, draft contract, and points of agreement. And we've urged both sides to attempt to move forward in good faith to complete the contract as soon as possible. That letter has gone to the president of the union local and to the CEO of the Capital Area Transportation Authority. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Brian, Chris, can you have Brian put that up on the screen so people can just kind of see that letter that she did for CATA? I think we've got a copy of it.
It's in the documents, Robin. At least Brian told me he was putting it in the documents.
Oh, absolutely it is. I was just hoping he could pull it up since he's sharing the screen.
I can, yeah, I can switch over to that here. I'm helping someone else trying to log in, so multitasking. But I will bring that up if, Chris, you want to move forward on the agenda, then
Sure,
I can.
yeah, we'll go ahead forward. All right, Vice Chair report. Mary Kay, since you're coughing, I'm gonna mute you. Vice Chair reports, is Veronica here?
She is here.
Yes, she is here. Veronica, if you have anything you want to share, any of the vice chairs, go ahead and unmute yourself if you have anything to share. Veronica, Ted, Robin, or Diane?
No, thank you.
None.
Okay.
Well, we haven't had another meeting. We'll just want to encourage everyone that's a part of the 8th Congressional District, the Executive Committee, and congratulate those that were elected to those positions, but also those that were elected to the at-large State Central. And I would encourage you, if you have not been attending or would like to know more about 8th Congressional District, that you let us know, and we'd love to have you. That information is generally posted as well on our Ingham County webpage. Our new president is Brian Jackson.
What did I do?
What? Thomas Morgan, maybe?
I'm sorry,
It's the
Thomas
chair.
Morgan.
Thomas
I'm so
Morgan is
sorry.
the chair.
No, I am not. Yeah,
That was a
Thomas Morgan.
COVID moment.
Thomas
Sorry.
Morgan.
COVID moment.
We're all in a fog.
Yeah, okay, all right. Let's move on to committees then.
Communications is,
Chris.
Unmute. Okay.
There we
Hello.
go.
Yes, the communications committee is running and growing and trying to work better to communicate with folks. And the early priority has been the welcoming subcommittee, of which some of the people here are part of it. And our goal is to be reaching out, hopefully by phone, at least by email, to all the people who start attending our meetings. And if this is your first or second meeting, one of us will be reaching out to you and trying to get a feel for, let you know more about the party and your interests in helping us. So that's probably the biggest priority. There's about 4 or 5 of us who are involved in it right now. If you're interested, let me know or let Brian know. And we can, we're a inclusive group, so we'd love to have you join us. And then I think the second thing we're talking about here is that the conversations about brainstorming about future speakers for the meetings are going to take place within this group as well. Is that right, Brian? Is that I know we talked a little bit about that, but I'm a little...
There was I think a few people were interested in speakers like Dottie that weren't necessarily on the welcoming committee, but there's a lot of overlap, a lot of the same people and we got a couple of meetings scheduled out. So we have some time to plan and really, in lining up folks, I think, for July, September, into the fall. So we have actually time to brainstorm and get ahead and get, some speakers on the, together.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. The other thing is we're trying to be more as communicative as we can on the Facebook page, and there's several people, including me, who are posting with some amount of regularity. I'd encourage you to take a look at it and love it and reply to things. And the idea would be to get a conversation and it more interactive than it is right now. But it's also a place where you can go to find out about events and meetings that are taking place.
For those of us who are not on Facebook, do you guys do Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok?
That's what we want the intern to help us with, to teach
Ah.
us. Or anyone else who likes doing that, please.
I love Twitter. I'm all on Twitter all the time, so I
Okay.
can help with that.
Okay.
Oh.
Would you like to join us on in our committee, Dottie?
I'll come to the May 13th meeting.
I'm sorry?
I'll come to the May 13th meeting.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Great.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Election, actually, the judicial endorsement form would be Judicial Qualifications Committee. So we've got a little jumble there in our stuff. So we'll just do elections first, and then judicial qualifications. Okay. Ted, elections.
Okay, elections. Good evening, everybody. Well, we've talked about the May 4th election. That's right around the corner, but also we've got August and November coming up. And if you're not aware, the filing deadline for Lansing was yesterday. And so there's a little drama and at last minute, of course, but three of the races look pretty wide open. The mayor, the second ward, and a lot of at-large. So that'll be interesting. But anyways, I just wanted to pass along that anybody that wants to be considered for endorsement, there is a link on our webpage, and I will share that in the comments too. Or if you know one of the candidates and want them to apply. And that's it.
And the timeline, if people want to apply, they should do it within a couple weeks of the filing deadline. What is our timeline? It's pretty. They should act pretty quickly.
It's sooner than later.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 14 days, Chris.
14 days, thanks. And we do have a high threshold for primary endorsements. It's 3/4 of vote of this body. So I don't know if that will happen in any of the primary races. Okay, judicial qualifications.
Yeah, I've been attempting to get clarification from the state bar as to when the deadline is. Judge Larkin has resigned her seat on the 54B District Court. So I'm not clear whether it's June 30th or June 1st that the resignation is effective. That's what I've been trying to get straight. And we will have a committee meeting. There will be a questionnaire that I'll put up on the website. We've got one, but we need to make a few changes in it. Put that up on the website so that candidates who are interested can in fact submit a request for endorsement. The committee is down to a fairly small number of members. It does not require that you be an attorney. The bylaws say that it is a mix of non-attorneys and attorneys. So anyone who is interested, shoot me a text and we will add you to the committee. And as soon as I know a date, we'll post that also. So that's the status of the 54B District Court race.
Okay, thank you. Do you want a text or an email, or either?
Either will work.
Okay. I'm gonna put that in the chat. Okay, finance and fundraising. Mary Kay, go ahead and continue.
Finance, I need to set a meeting, and I will call the people who have volunteered so far and get a meeting date, and we will post that. And as I said earlier, anyone who wants to join us is welcome to join us. It's going to take a group of people because we'll be fundraising for both our administrative account and our PAC account.
Okay. Thank you. Resolutions and bylaws?
We have not received any resolutions for review, and I want to remind people of what I said last month, that if you have an idea for a resolution, you really should attempt a first draft yourself and then send it to us, preferably at least 2 weeks before the next executive committee meeting. So that would give us time enough to review and have it ready at that next executive committee. And, of course, if there is somebody who really loves to take other people's ideas and create resolutions from them, they are more than welcome to let us know. and we may make use of them.
Okay. Boy, I think that that thing from the state party on all of those election bills could be turned into a resolution that's already kind of almost formatted.
Well, and that's also one that I might be, wouldn't mind necessarily doing myself, just because I have some knowledge of it.
Yeah, that
okay.
It would be nice if we had something next month to do on that.
Yeah. Okay, organization and development. Brian.
Okay, we got a lot going on here, as you can see. So I'm going to hand off first to Carly. Carly Knott, who has been the point person for the Holt School Bond campaign. They're doing a very active campaign down there. So Carly, can you share with what are the volunteer opportunities and the needs are for the Holt School Bond Vote Yes campaign?
Yeah, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Had to join by phone. So yeah, so Holt Public Schools is having their bond proposal on the May 4th ballot. So we're trying to drum up a lot of support for that in Holt. So they're doing a phone banking up until that day, and we need more volunteers to help do that list. So they're using the mivotecast.com software to manage their list and keep track. And the list we're using right now is an absentee voter chase list. And they're focusing on very likely Democratic voters who currently have their absentee ballot. And we're just trying to get them to turn it in and voice their support for the ballot initiative. So if you're interested in volunteering, you can reach out to me and we'll make sure we get you login information for that software. And we'll also likely schedule a Zoom training to go over it and make sure you have everything you need to know to help out. Also, if you live within the Holt Public School District, they still have a few yard signs and they're looking to put them in visible areas. If you live on like a high traffic road, or even if you just have a lot of neighbors in your subdivision, you can reach out to Jet to get a yard sign. They're currently located at his office at Moore Trosper. I think the information is in the agenda. I can't really post it in the chat right now. But yeah, we would love any support. There has been pretty vocal opposition at some of the Holt school boards, so they think it's going to be kind of a close call whether or not it's going to pass, but it would be really great for the schools, a lot of needed infrastructure upgrades and reorganizing of the grades. So we're really trying to push that. So any support by yard signs, or if you want to volunteer for the phone bank, we would love the support.
Great, Carly. Thank you for that. I do have Carly's email up here at notc@umich.edu, and Jet Moore. I did sit in on one committee meeting, and there are just a lot of folks and faces that I'm really not familiar with. So it's a great way if you if we had a few Ingham Dems coming to make phone calls. it really is a great way to build connection and networks into the Holt area. So encourage people to do that. They're only 2 weeks before the election, so it's a very short-term commitment there with the Holt schools. We really haven't heard much from any of the other school bond efforts. So the other, the big thing, I mean, it has national implications, is stopping the Republicans' attack on democracy phone bank. Working with the state party, we have 2 training sessions here that coming up on Sunday at 4 o'clock and then Monday at 10 a.m. Looking to try and cultivate people who are available during the day to make calls and reaching other people who are available during the day while still people are working at home, not to mention retirees or home for, they have the time then to make calls. And what this phone bank is we're calling into to Democrats who have Republican state senators, starting with our state senator to the west, Mr. Went blank. Oh, I can see his helicopter.
Barrett.
Who we really need to get the word out on what a crappy elected official he is anyway, as he has aspirations for future glory, I think, and it seems pretty aggressive, that the more we can share, people are aware of what, make him aware that if he does support this, that there's repercussions. And so we would be calling into Eaton County to Democrats to encourage them to call their state senator and really put the pressure on these state senators. You already can see it in the sound bites and quotes from Senator Johnson, that she's like, it hasn't even been in, been the committee yet, that they're feeling the pressure on it. And so if these state senators hearing from their own constituents, we really can maybe stop this from even goes a lot further.
Brian, and that Brian,
Yep.
that Senate district is part of Ingham County as well. That's the one that Kelly Rossman ran for, that Tom Barrett is in. So it circles around over to Williamston area.
Right. Yes, that's the Williamston area. Yeah. So we're calling all the Democrats in that whole. But I believe Cody is trying to knock it out by county at a time to make sure we. But I could be wrong. He may be setting up for the whole state Senate district. He's like, yeah, there's a lot of Democrats out there to reach out to. So we need lots of people to make the phone call. So I will put this into the chat. So it's an easy link to sign up right now for one of these 2 training sessions. And then we'll, based on demand, or if these dates don't work, let me know. We can have more sessions that we can get this word out. But this, I think, is going to be our major, we have to have that rapid response. And this is a call, to action. So we'll really need folks to step up the call, and like the fact you're calling other Democrats and engaging with them and informing them and encouraging them to speak with the senators, since we know our senator is leading the fight against this. He doesn't really need any more calls, but I'm sure he's getting them anyway, because there's just lots of efforts out there to encourage people to reach their senators about these bills for that. So any questions about the Stop Republican phone bank? Also, we'll be posting on Facebook, sharing of encouraging people all over Michigan to call the state senate. So please share that with your network as well. The information we have here tonight is on the web. It's shareable. It has links. It'll be linked and can be shared. We really need to get the word out to stop this in its tracks. Really, the effort, I think, is going to be the collecting the petition signatures, and the more groundwork we already do about it is going to make it harder for them to collect signatures later on in this effort, as people already be like, they're already going to say no, don't sign it.
Brian,
yeah.
Brian, this is Laura. I'm curious, how many people are interested in attending one of those sessions now? I'm one of them. I'll be there Monday.
I'm one of them. I'm Kathy.
All right,
Okay.
Kathy, great. Thanks. Yep.
I'm Dottie, and I'll come to the Sunday one.
Awesome.
And that's one thing, we're not sure when good times to do trainings. It'd be great to know what's kind of like a regular training times in that. So always open for feedback on that, which kind of goes back into our outreach organizing committee meeting. Is on April 29th at 6 o'clock. It's Thursday, so we're not conflicting with the Meridian Dems, who are having Alyssa Slotkin speaking next Wednesday for that. And one of the big things that we will be doing is to make our plans for starting to do weekly phone bank times, knocking on doors in May and June. And we started a doodle poll, and I'm not sure how many folks know how a doodle poll works, but I'm going to bring it up here. Can folks see that, or do you still see the agenda?
Still the agenda.
Agenda.
Okay, I couldn't remember which I selected.
Chris, Brian.
So this is looking at a regular week. Don't get focused on the particular days, the date, but in a particular week, hey, Wednesday nights or Tuesday nights are pretty good for me that I could go out and do doors or make phone calls. Sunday afternoons, I'm generally free, not maybe every Sunday afternoon, but most of them. And I would be interested in going out and, knocking doors or making phone calls. And so we're trying to find folks with who willing to make those kind of commitments, and getting a small group together that we can go out and knock on doors and maybe have a drink or an ice cream afterwards. As many of us hopefully are all now vaccinated or will be soon. We can start looking at doing those kinds of things, or we're going to be gathering together at our phones and doing a virtual phone bank, but we're all joining in a meeting so that there's a resource for us, and we're kind of sharing the pain and sharing community with our calls and that. So you could do that now. Sign up, click on that link to go to the, if you're interested in doing that kind of walking or making phone calls, making that commitment for once a week. This is what's going to make the difference for victory, is putting in the time now. They have that effort, and then we'll see how, and then we'll go from there. So any questions about Doodle organizing committee? No, then that concludes my report.
All right, thanks. Rural outreach and community engagement, Diane.
Yes, well, this new committee is still ramping up, and I've actually Deb Nolan has been helping me with it, because she was the one that helped kind of get going our rural effort for the campaign too. But I have a list of some people that have been active either in other activities we've done, and then also on the signs, that I'm trying to reach all of them first to tell them about the new committee and then see who's involved in that. I would like to get like a core group put together before we just open it up. So because I want new people coming to it to when they get to a meeting, feel like it's organized enough and solid enough to, you want to get involved in it, rather than just start out with too much up in the air. So that's what I'm working on. And I've also connected with the MDP Rural Caucus, and I think it's a pretty good group, and they're fairly new too, but they've got representatives around the state. They have really good speakers, all very ag-related topics. Like they've talked about climate change and regulatory issues. I think they've got a really good group going, and it's of course same issues. They're a lot more broad in their scope, but I think we kind of fit into where they have people from each region in the state that are representatives to there. And I think that, the more we get our group going at our level, that we could feed into that. I just think all around, and I hear at national level more talk about just Dems needing to reach out to rural a lot more than ever before, which was not much. And so I think it's a good thing to do. I guess I see it that we also within the townships will have people to represent townships, and then over time just get a lot of feedback. Those people would get more and more involved in up on what's going in the rural townships, and then bring it back to the rural committee and share it. We could share, different things that's going on, and then we could do nuts and bolt activities for election and campaigns on how do you get started in like local government and township government. So I just think all that can unfold over the next couple of years, and we'll make it good. So then on the community outreach side is a little more, figuring out what to do about that. I think we need to need more guidance on what maybe this would have an executive committee. If it's not at a time when I can get there, I'll just make a list of questions I have about what I think is not focused about what is expected on that. But I guess the questions have to do with, what are other committees doing with community outreach, and like, what is this one? And I see it maybe more as setting up a network with other community groups out there that we would just stay connected with. But as far as activities with that, I think we need to talk more about that, and just how, really what is expected in our connections with them, and how loose, and just like, we just want to stay in touch, but not overdo our bounds on how we're getting involved with them. We just need more direction. So I think, and who's doing what in that whole area. So, but that can be brought into this, as we figure that out as well. So I thought after we get this core group, then we'll go to communications committee and ask for help on getting the word out on our social media, and go from there.
Okay, great. Thanks, Diane. Any questions for Diane? All right, so approval of new members of the expanded executive committee. We've got 3 people that are back for their second time. Tanya Pratt, Dottie Walensky, and Lena Payton Fields. Is there a motion to add them to the group?
So moved.
So support.
Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Robin, for supporting.
Is there anyone else who has attended 2 meetings that is a party member mean, those are people we know about, but I didn't know if there's anyone else. Nope. Okay. Thank you.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, welcome to the three of you. All right. I don't believe we have any old business, new business. I'm not sure if there's an actual update for the citizens redistricting. I'm not aware of anything that we need to do here.
No, we discussed it in May. They will be having a meeting, but there's no update.
Okay. Elected officials, anyone here want to make a report? Organizations, caucus reports. Okay. Announcements, good and welfare. I saw a couple of candidates posted something in the chat. If you want to make any announcements, now's a good time for that.
It looks like the second ward candidate had to leave early, but she did put her
Okay.
information in the chat.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
Oprah, Revish, yeah. All right. Hearing none. Does someone want to move we adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Thanks, Dan.
Support. I guess we don't need that.
All those in favor say aye.
Oh, we do.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye,
Good night.
everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.